comes up. Because usually you'll get a pop-up if it's working. Okay, I do see
Oh,
something.
yes. Yeah, lovely.
So let's fingers crossed. You'll make it the whole time, but it might move a little slow just because we're all online. So then let me see if I can get that
Should we all turn our cameras off, Mindy, before you start? Do you think that's going to help with the
movement. Let's see. Are you guys, you seeing my, you see something?
We can see, yeah, we can see a PowerPoint
Oh,
and
okay.
you down in the corner, and then I'm going to turn my camera off now.
Okay, so it might work. So we'll see how much it takes because I'm going to try to respect the time we have. We have about an hour, so I'm going to make sure I don't run you guys over. But, well, good evening. What's happening, you guys? So excited again to be here with you on International Women's Day. We are all here internationally. So I am Mindy Green, and we are going to talk all about beauty this evening. So, yes, International Women's Day. I couldn't believe I picked this day actually to do this when we had rescheduled it. We had talked about the first and then it came for the 8th. So I'm like, wow, that's a good thing. I picked a good date for this. So, and then Women's History Month. So this is actually historic for me because this is my first time having a dialogue on beauty overseas. So since I'm across the pond over here in the States, that's a history making moment for me. All right, so a couple of housekeeping things. So please try to go on mute just to make sure that everybody can hear everything. I guess the camera is going to be optional, but, we'll have to see how it works with the bandwidth because it looks like it's moving okay. It doesn't seem like it's dragging too much, so we might be able to keep our cameras on. Feel free to put questions in the chat box. I'm going to try to wait till the end for the Q&A session just to try to make sure I get through all of the topics that we wanted to discuss. Miss Claire had asked me to discuss. And I love seeing reactions. Do you guys know where your reaction buttons are? If you can, give me a heart, or what do you get? I think you get hearts. You might get like a wave. You might get smiley faces. Oh, okay, I'm starting to see something. Okay, perfect. So yes, please use the reaction buttons throughout. And this meeting is being recorded, so that way you guys can refer back to it. And then also, some of the people here at Wella actually would like to take a peek at what we're talking about. So we'll have a record. All right, so my agenda is to do like a quick icebreaker. And this is some stuff you can put in the chat for me. Then talk about some breakthrough career moments for me. The right stuff is getting into your tools, like your brushes that you're going to need. And then client consultations. So important when you're working with a client to make sure you can deliver what they're asking for. And then beauty at every age. If you're lucky as an artist and hairstylist, you are going to have people sitting in your chair that are between the ages of 18 and 80 and younger and older. So, and then we'll get into our Q&A session. All right, so here's the icebreaker question. I want you to put in the chat, what was the first beauty product you ever bought? So for some of you like me, I had to think back like 30 years till I was like 10, 11 years old to what was the first thing I bought. And I have a little clue with that picture of me with the lipstick. Of course, it was a lip product. I ended up buying this little like lip gloss, kind of like a lip liquor, I think it was called, a little gold tin that it was in. It was like strawberry flavored. And I remember a couple of Wet n Wild lipsticks. I don't know if you guys have Wet n Wild over there. Okay, I see it. Concealer sticks coming out. Really, it's just advanced getting concealer. Okay. Okay, Revlon, yes. Revlon lipstick. I do remember buying some of that. Brow gel. Gosh, some of you are more advanced than me. I wasn't even thinking about stuff like that. A lot of lip glosses. Mascara, yes, definitely. I'm with you on the mascara. At some point, I do remember picking up a mascara too. Hannah Montana's lip gloss. Oh, that's cute. Eyeliner. Yeah, that's a pretty early on product too. I used to do that. We got lip balm. Oh, Rimmel Heather Shimmer. No, is that what that Heather Shimmer? Okay, is that a lipstick? Because Rimmel's actually one of the sister companies of the brand that used to own Wella, which was Coty, but Rimmel's in that family. Eyebrow mascara. Wow, you guys are more advanced than me. I was just thinking lips, something simple, but I'm seeing eyeshadow, mascara. Okay, let's see what else. That's a pretty good idea. Good variety of stuff. Makeup powder fixer. Eyeshadow. Okay. Wow. Makeup powder fixer. I'm like, what is that exactly? Fixer. I have to look that up and see what that one's about, but okay. Lip gloss. I am like a lip gloss junkie. That's one thing I'm going to talk about with me a little bit later. Avon eyeshadow. Okay, bright pink lip gloss. That's pretty good. Okay, here we also have brow powder. Man, that's what I'm thinking. You guys are a little more advanced. Maybe you knew you were going to do beauty at 10, 10, 11, 12. Me, I wasn't so sure yet. It wasn't on my radar, so I just stuck with the lips. But that is pretty good. Okay, so that's really fun to hear about that. Options. Oh, let me go back a little bit. So, who is Mindy, right? You have Miss Claire who brought me over here. Actually, I should thank, what is it, Maria Bonus, one of your directors at the school, who actually connected with me on LinkedIn. And so, a little bit about me. So, I'm Mindy Green. I'm best known as a makeup artist, but I am also a hairstylist, wardrobe consultant, and I call myself a multimedia beauty expert because I've sometimes been on TV or I've been featured in like a blog or online magazine as a beauty expert. And I'm also the owner of MG Beauty, which is my baby, my company that I started about 14 years ago. And I also work with Wella Professional as a field education business manager. So I believe you guys are a Wella school. So thank you. Put my Wella hat on for a second. Thank you for being a Wella customer. What are my must-have shoes? I easily have about 200 pair of shoes. No joke, 200. Anyone else there a shoe junkie? Let me see in reactions. Anybody else love shoes? I'm trying to see who else loves shoes. I'm thinking, okay, few. Wow, well, that's a lot for you. Okay, 200. Yeah, that is kind of a lot. Okay. Lip gloss. I am a lip gloss junkie. When I look at my beauty arsenal, I have twice as many lips as I have anything else. So I'm definitely in the lip gloss. I love shiny, glossy lips. And truthfully, anything shiny and sparkly. If it's gold, silver, sequins, I'm like all over. Rhinestones, if it's blinged out, I love it. Someone has 46. Okay, that's not too bad. I can live with 46 pairs. That's probably where I should be, not at like 200. And I am celebrating 25 years in the beauty industry. So I count 1995 as the beginning of my professional career. And so that's my benchmark. So it was hard to figure out what should we chat about in this time because it was so much to try to compress to get things, into a spot where I'm not talking for the whole hour. But I think I did it. But here's a little quick overview. So my company was born January 1st, 2007, and that's my logo. And what you see to the left is my very first headshot as an artist when I made it a business. Before then, it was more of a hobby for me. Okay, so on this slide, you should see like different makeup brands that I work for. Now, Christian Dior is in the center because that was the first company that I ever worked for as an artist. And that's the year I mark as the beginning of my career, which was 1995. And that is the only brand I actually worked at a makeup counter for. Everybody else that you see on the screen, NARS, Bobbi, MAC, and Lancome, I was a freelance makeup artist for those brands. Now, the last time I worked as a freelancer for anyone, it was 2015 was the last time, and that was NARS. I worked for them from 2012 to 2015. I worked for Bobbi Brown from like 2008 to 2013. MAC was like 2007 to about 2012, and then Lancome was the most short-lived. I really didn't think it was a good fit for me. I only worked for them maybe about a year, 6 months, somewhere in there. And you may find that when you work as an artist that sometimes you think a brand is a good fit for you, and then after you start working there, you're like, not really. So Lancome didn't work for me. But this picture you should see here, this is my first time being on TV. And this was Valentine's Day weekend in 2016. And the woman you see in the green dress is the one responsible for bringing me on. That was in Houston, Texas, if you're familiar with any geography here in the States. And the model you see on my other side was modeling a look for unconventional lip colors. So she's got her green lips on. And you might be seeing green lips next week with St. Patrick's Day coming around. And this picture right here was my first time on a lifestyle show in Washington, D.C. And this was actually an invitation to talk about that big wedding you guys had a few years ago, Harry and Meghan. So I was invited on to talk about her makeup. And this is a feature in the Washington Post. And this was a huge moment for me in my career because I had never been in any article for a publication that was, one, I guess, has such a wide circulation because the Washington Post has like 80 million readers, but also such a well-respected media outlet. So this was really a big step for me in my career. But fast forward to where we are today. So I work, I guess, as I said, with the Wella Company. I'm actually a field education manager. So that means I work with the salons and the account managers to bring them classes on hair color, cutting, on hairstyling, the latest trends. So that's like a big chunk of what I do, but there's a bit more to it. And I wasn't sure if you all knew that on December 1st, that Wella became an independent company again. Before that, they had owners like Cody and Procter & Gamble. But now the Wella Company is its own company. So if you didn't know, that's the rebirth of the brand. And then what you see there on the other side is a spotlight. Wella Store has a blog, and I was one of the employees featured last month for Black History Month. So that's Mindy Green in a nutshell. I said a lot there. So let's start getting into, some of our topics about getting your tools together. So if you want to be a makeup artist or hair and makeup artist, you're definitely going to need to build up a kit. And part of your kit's going to be your brushes, making sure you have the right tools. I mean, easily, I say my kit's probably about $5,000 if I had to replace it. So that's another thing you want to remember: to get insurance. Get a liability policy as a business owner, and make sure that that policy will cover your kit should something happen. I've had artists who their kit's been stolen out of their car, or, a natural disaster, and they ended up, just getting ruined. So make sure you have coverage for your kit. Okay, so when we talk about brushes, now across the top, you can see like those are brands of different brushes that you may want to consider. And a good number of those brands actually do have a professional discount program. So since you all are in school, you may be able to qualify to get a discount. And usually when you get pro discounts, they're between like 20 to 40%. And there's a variety. They have ones that are more vegan. They have others that are, more natural hairs. So depending on where you are, you can pick up brushes from there. And then I was kind of talking about price point. This Haku Hodu, that's probably the most expensive brushes that I know of. So that's going to cost a pretty penny to get a couple sets of those. But just throwing some names out there. The NARS brushes are nice too. And the Cosette. I know the Cosette is synthetic. NARS, I believe, are more animal hair. But when you're building up your brushes, you want to have for the face, definitely you want a powder brush, blush, contour, highlighter, concealer brush, and foundation. And you're probably going to need a few foundation brushes, maybe like a flat one, and possibly, actually I might have one, because they come in a few styles. Like sometimes it may fade out on me. Like some people like these nice thick brushes, but I prefer something that's a little bit thinner when it comes to like foundation. It just depends on the texture. Like if you're using like liquids, or are you using like a cream? But this is another style brush too that you might want to have a couple in your kit. For eyes, you're going to make sure you have like a small eyeshadow. You need a large eyeshadow. You're going to need the crease brush. I call it a fluff, one that you can use to kind of blend out any like harsh lines, and then eyeliner, definitely. Some extras. I know people like beauty blenders. How many of you out there like using a beauty blender for foundation? Let me see, maybe in the chat or reactions. Okay, so got a couple. Okay, the beauty blender is not super popular yet, I guess. A few. Okay, well, I know over here in the States, a lot of people love using a beauty blender. And I was just going to say, if you want to get them, it's fine. I mean, I do kind of like what they do. I use it sometimes for myself with liquid foundation, but I was just going to say, if you're going to do it, I would suggest you actually gift it to the customer, because it's really hard to sanitize a beauty blender. Get a brow brush, lip brushes, mini scissors for helping you with like cleaning up the brows. Tweezers, of course, going to help you with cleaning up the brows, and also putting lashes on. And you're going to need a chair. And when I say a portable chair, you're going to need something that works at the height that you like, because you don't want to be hunched over and have your back hurting after you're doing multiple makeovers, especially if you're going to be a mobile artist, because that's what I do. I travel to the customer's home, and I never know what type of seating they're going to have. And it may be too low for me to be able to do makeup on multiple people. So I have to carry a chair just to make sure it's always at the right height. and lights, because you never know what you're going to get in someone's house. It could be a basement, kind of dark. You could be showing up in the evening. I prefer natural light from a window, but if you're showing up in the evening, you may not have a whole lot of daylight. So you're also going to have to bring lights with you. So it's quite a bit that you're lugging around if you're a mobile artist, or you can get a studio, I guess, and be stationary and have clients come to you, but that's a little bit more overhead to consider. And then I say some extras. These are just things that you might just want to have available in the event that you're at a wedding or doing some kind of photo shoot, something, and people tend to forget all kinds of things. And you want to be that person that, even though you were there to do makeup or hair, you want to have everything else. You want to be indispensable. You want to be that person that was the go-to, that no matter what it was, you actually had a solution for it. That's how you can make sure that you get hired again and again. All right. So client consultations. So I guess the foundation for a good makeover is going to be asking the client the right questions, making sure that you and them are on the same page, because that can actually, I just recently heard on one of my Facebook groups, there was an artist who's been out there, she said 15 years, but she's still been struggling with consultations, that lately the brides that she's done, they kind of come back later on and say they weren't quite happy with the trial session. And so if you really think about it, she could probably trace that back to her consultation and giving them what they wanted, or understanding what they wanted up front. So this is a very crucial part of being an artist. Okay, so here's like a kind of like a bit of an eye chart with all these questions, but here's things I really want you to think through when you're having a conversation with the customer, because this is going to help you kind of be a little bit of a detective. Now, if any of you have started doing makeup out there now, you may feel like the client doesn't necessarily know what skin type they are. And sometimes they don't, or that they need to take care of their skin, that they should be doing things to make it a little bit easier, because the best skin, you get the best makeup. But some people think that makeup is magic and that all they got to do is just show up and you'll be able to give them this beautiful, flawless skin without, having to do the work on the back end. So here's some questions I think you should ask. And maybe you might even want to take like a little, screenshot of it as well. But how would you describe your skin, right? What products do you use in your skincare routine? Now over here, we have a brand called Dove Cleaner that a lot of women like to use on their face. It's not necessarily the best cleanser, but they have marketed themselves as being the beauty bar. So a lot of women like using it, but it does dry out their face. And so maybe they're not really dry, it could just be that soap. But you have to kind of be the detective and ask questions like, well, after you wash your face, does it feel tight? Or do you get shiny throughout the day? Because you're trying to find out, are they oily, or are they actually dry, or are they actually combination? So what do you do for a living, and how much time do you spend on your makeup? So this is going to give you a clue of what do they typically do every day, right? If they're in a job where maybe they're in a warehouse, they're not customer facing, they might not put a whole lot of effort into their makeup. Or they might tell you, hey, I got like 5 minutes. So for you as the artist, you have to think, okay, how far do I take them if there's someone who barely wears makeup every day? And just be conscious of that when you're deciding on a look for them. What are your biggest concerns with your skin or makeup? Some people might say, their skin is dry. Maybe they have large pores, or maybe, they have acne. Right. And there's nothing you might not necessarily be able to do on the spot for acne, but you being in school and having more skincare knowledge, you can at least help them understand what they need to do to get their skin in a better condition. Do you wear makeup every day? And what color palettes do you use? Now that's critical, because that again lets you know what's the comfort zone of this client. They're coming to you, and a professional makeover is completely different than what they may be doing every day. So you want to know that they're going to be comfortable if you're putting a full face of makeup, foundation, eyeshadow, concealer, that's a lot for some people. So if they don't wear makeup every day, you may have to kind of talk them through the makeover and give them a little bit more information about what you're doing as you're doing it, so that they understand that you're not doing anything heavy, you're just doing a proper professional makeover. And then what color palette do they like to use? You might find that people might just go with brown or something neutral every day. And then you can decide, is it worth it for you to kind of say, well, do you want to step outside of that? Or do you want to go with what you normally use? I try to encourage people to step outside because they see that other color palette every day. If you're paying someone to do your makeup, have a little bit of fun with it. Do you use eye cream? Do you use sun protection? Now, this is huge because, again, the best skin, you get the best makeup. We know the eye area is the first place you're going to see any signs of aging. So you want to make sure that they start really early taking care of that eye area. And that could be as early as like age 14. There's some brands that even think age 12 that people should start wearing eye cream. So sun protection is huge, of course. The aging and burning rays of the sun, you want to protect that skin and stay as youthful as possible for as long as possible. You might have people who've been out there tanning and their skin is really dry or leathery or like even peeling. So that's something else you have to deal with as an artist. Any allergies? Right now, people are, more sensitive to products. Everybody's kind of a little bit of a chemist. They're online looking at ingredients. So that's one thing you want to know. Some people have latex allergies. So if you're using lashes, you have to make sure you have glue that's a latex free. Any colors you don't like maybe you might have thought a blue eyeshadow is going to look fabulous on them, but they're like, okay, I hate blue. So at least you want to know that, but then you can kind of dig a little bit. Well, why do you hate blue? Like, well, what happened? Maybe it might be blue eyeshadow, but a blue eyeliner might work for them. So you kind of have to probe that a little bit. And do you like shimmer or sparkle? Now, for me, there is no other option but shimmer or sparkle. Now, who else is a shimmer or sparkle person? We see reactions. Who loves shimmer, sparkle, things that are not matte? Okay, shimmer. Okay, we with me with shimmer. A few. Seeing some thumbs up. Yeah, yeah. That's my thing. I have got to have anything that is shiny and sparkly. Like every lip gloss I have, pretty much most of my lip glosses have some kind of sparkle in it. So for me, someone to say they don't like shimmer, that's like the worst thing in the world if I can't put something sparkly on them. But it is what it is. People have different preferences, so you have to respect that. Like my boss at Well actually calls me glitter bomb. That's how much I like things that are sparkly. Are you open to wearing lashes? So I really feel like lashes set off an eye for a client, but there's some people who just aren't ready to take that step, and so you have to respect it. But I always try to encourage people, especially brides, to put lashes on. This is their moment to be super glam, their princess moment, and I kind of feel like the lashes give them that ability to do it. And do you have a photo of a look or makeup that you like? That is, gosh, that's probably going to be your saving grace in most cases, because the customer may say to you, well, I want something natural. And then they'll show you a photo of someone who's got full glam makeup. And you'll be like, okay, but I thought they said they wanted something natural. But, in their mind, they think it's natural because of the color palette. Whereas you as an artist, you're like, okay, this ain't natural. They got lashes out to here, all this highlight and contour, like the lips are like, overdrawn. You're like, this ain't natural. But that's a great opportunity for you to talk to the customer and say, okay, what do you like about this picture? What is it that you think, is most appealing? Is there anything here that you wouldn't like to see? And then you can kind of dig in, and sometimes it is just the color palette, not so much the application that they liked about that picture. But you always want to consider skin tone, face shape, features. You will have a client who will give you a photo of maybe a celebrity, and they don't necessarily look like that celebrity. So you kind of have to temper their expectation up front and say, okay, I see what, this picture of so-and-so. Just be aware that you can have something similar, not exactly the same, because your eyes are shaped like this and that model's eyes are shaped like that. So always give them the right expectation. Let them know that, it's going to be close, because some people they really think when you show them their face that they're going to look just like the celebrity. And we want to make sure that they know up front, not quite. Okay. Okay, so we're going to talk about people that, at every age group. Now, this model that you see here, her name is Maureen. She was actually, I believe, 68 at the time we did this makeover. So for me, I'm good with whoever wants to sit in my chair. If you're good with me, I'm good with you. So I don't necessarily have a problem or say I'm only going to work on people in certain age groups. I like to have a variety of clients. So let's talk about some considerations in different age groups for you. Okay, so when you have the younger clients, 16 to 30, you really want to start grounding them in good skincare. This is the time when you can have an impact on them for like the rest of their lives, because they need to know that you want to take care of your skin, that, doing good skincare, using that sun protection is definitely going to help you stay a little bit younger, longer, using that eye cream. That way, you can help combat those fine lines around the eyes. Maybe even talking to them a little bit about retinols and, beta and alpha hydroxy acids to use on their skin. Now, if they're closer to 16, they might be, suffering from acne. So they could be using some acne medication, and that could be over drying the skin. So that's something you may have to compensate for in doing their makeup. If they're closer to the 30 end, they might start having some fine lines or wrinkles on the face. Now, when you get into the next age group, the 30 through 50, this is like premenopause. So most likely the acne may be reappearing. You get a lot of hormonal acne when you're in this age group. And then the skin might not be as firm. When you start getting closer to 40, you can start to lose some of the collagen and elastin in the skin. And then the skin could be getting a little bit drier. So someone who may be a little bit younger might have said that they were really oily. They could start saying, now their skin's starting to get drier. And that's, again, something you may have to compensate for in your skin prep. Now, when you get to the ages 50 plus, the skin could start to be a little bit looser, like especially with the eye area, that you may notice that the eyes, the lid could be a little bit crepey, or it may not be as firm. So you might find yourself having to hold the lid in place a little bit more when you're doing makeup. The pores may be a little bit larger on the face. So that's something you might have to compensate for, maybe with a different primer for this age group. And some discoloration, you may start to see some sunspots on the face. So that's something else you may need a little more concealer for. And sometimes they lose a little bit of volume in the face, and they might be compensating with that sometimes with fillers. And then, of course, in menopausal women, the hot flash, and there's nothing you can do if you have a client in your chair who just starts to have a flash and starts sweating. You kind of just have to wait it out and then start your makeup. Sometimes have to start it over, but it just depends. I mean, that's not something you can really do a lot other than maybe have a little fan and give them a cool drink and just kind of wait it out. So I have said a lot in all that time. So I wanted to make sure we definitely had time to do Q&A. And I said, well, if we get a little bit of extra time, I wanted to talk about brands that might have pro discounts, and then maybe get into other things that you want to get in your like building a kit. But are there any questions out there on, I don't know, makeup, skincare, being in the beauty industry, directions on your career, whatever, hey, we're here to talk. This is a beauty chat. So I'm going to take a peek and see if there's anything in the chat now. What eye cream would you recommend? So let's see. Now, in the drugstore, I actually do kind of like Neutrogena and Rock, if you have those brands over there. Olay wasn't too bad. Now, if you're going a little bit higher end, I would say I actually do kind of like the Clinique Moisture Surge, but I do like the Bobbi Eye Repair Cream. The eye repair cream can be a little bit thick, very emollient. That might be more of a evening cream than a day cream. And let me think, what else have I tried? Because I'm not really loyal to eye cream, which is bad. I kind of switch around, but at least the one I have in my kit, and Kiehl's Skincare. I also like their products a lot. Actually, like their cleansers and moisturizers too. So Kiehl's is pretty good, actually. That was a good question. What's the favorite eye creams? Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. So, can you use something as simple as coconut oil as a moisturizer? 55 now, dry skin can be very dry. Okay. Let's see. I just lose my chat? Okay. Can be very dry. Want products to be as natural as possible. Hmm. Now, see, my concern with the coconut oil, I'm wondering, is it going to be too, I don't want to say emollient, where it might clog your pores? I'm a little concerned about that as a standalone moisturizer. Now, I would guess, I don't want to even say try it and see, because I'm a little worried that if you try it and then you have all these breakouts, then you'll be upset with me for saying try it. But nah, I would probably stay away from that, because I'm thinking it's probably a little too rich for you. Yeah, I wouldn't go there. I would try something else for that. Okay, let's see. Do you recommend anything that can give a kickstart to someone who has neglected their skin? Oh, wow. Yeah, as artists, you will see that. One of the things I think I see a lot is people who, yeah, haven't exfoliated. So you see a lot of like texture in the skin. Also, I've run into people whose lips are like really, really dry. So you definitely want to have a lip scrub in your kit, because you'll be surprised how many people's lips are really, really dry when you're going. But there's actually a product out there from Sonia Rizzoli, who's a makeup artist, and she has this thing called Sex Appeal, which is like a light exfoliant. That's something you could actually have in your kit to use on people like that when they sit in your chair. And that product is good. I also kind of want them to get something to kind of get those get some of the dead skin off of their face. Like I do like Murad skincare. They actually have I think they have a peel. Some people like the drunk elephant. That kind of goes back and forth on how people feel about it, because they also have like a peel, because what you're trying to do is at least try to reveal some of this fresher, newer skin underneath. Dr. Gross products are pretty good too. MD skincare has been pretty good too, because you really want to start them exfoliating and then get on a good cleanser and moisturizer. I don't really tone a whole lot. I kind of gave up toning a long time ago, but some people see a benefit in toning, so they might want to use some type of toner as well, people in that group. But hopefully that can help and get their skin a little bit softer and smoother. That'll be much better. Get them. I'm always saying someone needs eye cream, without a doubt, eye cream. Everybody should add that. And lip balm, that's so simple, but a lot of people forget lip balm, because the lips definitely take a beating too. Okay, so let me see if I can keep up with questions here. After Kickstart, okay. Is there any foundations that you could recommend for oily skin that will last long throughout the day? You know what? I'm with you, because I am a combination person too, so I get oily in here. And what I've done is with the skin prep is try to use a moisturizer that is oil-free and ideally oil control, or maybe something more mattifying. But as far as foundation goes, I just started using the new one from Pat McGrath. It's not too bad. A little pricey, her foundation, but it's not bad. Also, the foundation, I think they just discontinued it though. I was going to say for Becca, that one actually wasn't too bad. But NARS Soft Matte actually might be a good idea for you too, if you're oilier and you want to have more of a matte appearance. I would try one of those. Okay. So what eyebrow products would you recommend for thin hair brows? Me too. I feel mine's in. I like using a pencil, but the one from Kevyn Aucoin, I just kind of discovered it's not bad if you want a pencil. But if you like a pomade, a lot of people like the Anastasia, and also the one from Benefit, their brow powder. So you kind of got powder option, Benefit, pomade, the Anastasia, pencil is Kevyn Aucoin, or the MAC pencil's not bad. I like the old one better. They changed it. So I'd say Kevyn Aucoin or the MAC pencil, but I like the old MAC pencil better. Oh, and then Anastasia Brow Wish. She also has a pencil. Her products are pretty good for brow. So I would go Anastasia. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Best powders to avoid to help creasing. So you might have to come off mute. Is that creasing like on the eyes? Like, is it some specific area of the face where you're seeing creasing? Because I know the eyes, it happens a lot, or just under the eyes. Okay, so you probably want to get a nice translucent The Bobby one's not bad because I mean her concealer used to come in a little kit where it was like the creamy concealer and a powder with it. And then I've also used Laura Mercier. That one's a very popular powder. And then more in the professional space, Ben Nye and even RCMA. Those are some good ones. Because I guess the key is once you kind of put the concealer in there, then try to make sure you set it before they move, you know, roll the powder. Like I use I have the brush here. I like using kind of like I guess you can call it like a crease brush. I don't know if you can see that. Like underneath and try to like roll the powder onto that space and see if I can get it in there. But yeah, it's tough. You want to get it right before they move and then you can see it, you know, of course, settling in. But yeah, you want to set it like do that. Roll the powder under there, and I think that should work for you. Okay, so that's me too. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was the same question about the creasing, but yeah, it's not always the powder. Sometimes it's just our technique in getting it in there. But you know, or maybe you can even try. I guess I'm thinking you're maybe using more of a creamier concealer. You could try something that's a little more liquid in texture, like the Pro Longwear from MAC. A lot of people like that for concealing under the eye. I still like the NARS Radiant Concealer or their Soft Matte, and then still the same technique, just kind of rolling the powder under that, making sure you get it in that spot where you know, yeah, the little lines are, I could crease. Okay, I see here. So I got a new question. I have allergies to wearing mascara. When I wear mascara, my lashes start to fall. That's interesting. So somehow they start falling out when you use, there's got to be some kind of ingredient in there. There used to be like a clear mascara from Maybelline. It's probably not going to give you as much of an effect as you would get from the other ones, the colored ones. But I'm almost wondering, could it be something in the black mascara? And I'm wondering if you've tried using one of the colors, because now there's blue, there's purple. You know, I think at L'Oreal, there was like a purple one, a burgundy one, maybe a green one, and blue in the voluminous. So I'm wondering if you've tried other brands, other colors, and you've gotten the same problem, if it's like mascara in general or if it's something in the black mascara that creates that problem for you. But I would try a clear, and I think Maybelline makes a clear mascara. I would try that. Let's see. Main skincare for dry skin. Yes, so, and that's one thing you want to have in your kit when you start building is moisturizers for all skin types. You want to have for normal skin, oily skin, dry skin, and very dry skin. You want to make sure you have a moisturizer for each group. For drier skins, you definitely want to use more of a gentle cleanser, something that is, I guess to remove makeup, maybe that Purity from Philosophy is a nice one. Or some people like the Bioderma micellar water. They like using that to remove makeup. A lot of people carry that around. And then try to use like of course, a nice rich moisturizer. You can use a serum too, depending on whether or not you've got like concerns with brightening the skin, or if you're just trying to get maybe some collagen boost, like some kind of anti-aging, you can use a serum, use your moisturizer. Definitely want to use your sun protection with drier skins. I always say, of course, the lip balm, definitely the eye cream, everything you're going to need to make sure that that skin stays nice and plump. So, and sometimes I've had a client where they said they were dry and I have to see, well, how dry? Because people say they're dry and then you put one moisturizer on them and it works. But then I've had someone who was very dry, where when I put the moisturizer on, like literally a minute later, it was like I didn't put anything on their face. So I had to come back with an even more rich moisturizer on top of it before the skin really felt nice. So definitely a key point. But I would say that good cleanser, moisturizer twice a day. Definitely one with the SPF in it for the daytime. Everybody needs SPF. Even us darker skins, we all need SPF. And then a serum can help you with anti-aging. And then I would say even like for everyone, like twice a week, use at least some type of exfoliant or peel, or like Dermalogica has like a micro exfoliant that you can use daily. And then they also have another product that you can use like the once a week for the big exfoliation. So that's something that all the skin types use. I use the micro exfoliant too. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, somebody found that Sonia Rosala. Yes, the sex appeal. That a lot of people like that. And she's got Water Balm, a moisturizer that a lot of people love as a makeup prep product because it's kind of in the industry. I'm finding some people still like primer, but then there's a whole nother school of artists that are like, nope, just good skin prep. You don't need primer. So it kind of goes both ways. I'm big on eyeshadow primer because my lids are oily. So if I don't use a shadow primer, my eyeshadow is going to crease. So that for me, I'm not giving up any type of eyeshadow primer. But on the face, there's kind of this debate going on. I think for people who are oilier, on like the T-zone or wherever they're oily, I still feel like you need something to try to help mattify. But for people who are like drier or more normal, a lot of people like her Water Balm moisturizer as their only skin prep. Kiehl's lip balm, yes, I love that too. I use it. I have that in my kit. I'm with you, Claire. Okay. Okay, yes, I definitely love the Kiehl's lip balm. I'm definitely there. Definitely there. Let's see. Have you thought about launching your own range of products? Oh, interesting. I think at one point I thought about doing color, you know, and I kind of played around with like a private label company to do it for me. And I didn't do a whole lot with it because I started to feel like, do I think I can do it better than everybody else who's out here? There's like at least 1,000 companies doing beauty. And I'm like, what do I have to offer that's different? And do I think I can do it better than someone else? So until I really get seed money, I don't think I would do my own. It's an interesting idea. It's a great idea, but I don't think I would actually take it another step. If I did anything, it's going to be color. It'll probably be lip gloss, eyeshadow, eyeliner, maybe mascara, probably blush, highlighter, bronzer, if I did it. But yeah, I toyed around with the idea, but it's not something in the works right now. But maybe you might inspire me to get back on that. So thank you for that question. All right. Eyelash primer before the mascara. The one from Lancome, I can't remember what it's called because Lancome has some pretty good mascaras, but I think you guys are savvy enough to know that L'Oreal owns Lancome. So if you go check out the L'Oreal, you get the same effects, better price point. Like that voluminous mascara, I still use in my kit. A lot of makeup artists use it. It is one of our holy grail mascaras. So you don't always have to spend a ton to get a great product. Plus the way you're supposed to turn over mascara every like 6 to 8 weeks, you really don't want to spend like 30 bucks on it and then you have to throw it away. So you want to get something that's a little more economical in price to have in your kit because you can buy it in bulk. But I definitely like the L'Oreal mascara, and they have a pretty decent primer that you can get right there in the drugstore. I think they even have one mascara where one end is a primer and the other one is the color. So, so that's an idea, the L'Oreal. Let's see what else we got here. Eyelash primer, I have the last one I just did. Lots of different ones. I've tried lots of different ones, but oh, okay, the mascara problem. Okay, so it's gotta be, okay, so it's something maybe you're allergic to with it. It causes your hairs to start falling out. I'm wondering, is this waterproof? Probably not waterproof. It's probably anything. You're saying everyone you tried. But the lashes start coming out. That's unusual. I would actually see a dermatologist and ask them about that. Bring maybe the last one that you used and just kind of tell them what's been happening and see if the dermatologist has a recommendation or something that I guess kind of irritates maybe your hair follicles. There's got to be something in the mascara that you are allergic to. Now, I don't know if they still make it because it might be an idea to try it, but it's like cake mascara. And I'm trying to remember the name of the company that makes it where it's more like a powder and then you have to add water to it to create a mascara. I can't remember the name of the brand. Because there's something out here in the States, I want to say they're on the West Coast, that makes it. And it's like an old school kind of retro feel to the brand. And I can't remember, but that might be something because if you've tried all the ones that are already ready made, trying the cake mascara, I want to see if that might work better for you. But yeah, but definitely see a dermatologist still. So, okay, let's see where we are. Eyelash primer, black and white. Name 5 items for okay, so if you had to name 5 items for a personal basic makeup kit. Let's see. Oh, this one's they used to spit on it. I guess you could. All you're trying to do is get it wet. I guess so. Some people, I'm sure, have done that with a dried up mascara. They just kind of spit in it too. But might want to try a little bit better option is contact lens solution. Might want to put that in your mascara tube. That's probably going to do a little bit better for you to kind of revive a old, caked up mascara. But 5 items for personal makeup kit. Now let's see. Can I get it down to 5? Okay, so definitely gonna have to be lip gloss, mascara, eyeliner. It's gonna have to be concealer. Let's see. Well, I want to say powder, but it would have to be a powder foundation. That's probably the 5 to make that work. Because with us who are beauty people, we want everything. It's hard to just limit it. Like I can't even tell you how much makeup I have. So I have my own personal arsenal, which I'm sure all you do too. And then I've got all the makeup for clients because I don't commingle. What's for them is them and what's mine is mine. So I have a ton of makeup, man. So to say 5 pieces, yeah, eyeliner, mascara, concealer. You're going to need that powder and you're going to need your lips to be glossy because I got to have glossy lips. I guess could you get by with a pencil and use it on the lips and eyes depending on the color, but that may not work. No, I think that's it. Yeah, I think those are my 5. So, okay. Oh, yes. Thank you for finding that, Tasha. Yeah, that might be an idea to try that one. That is, I know that's probably like the only brand that I know of that makes a cake mascara and just see if maybe you have a little bit better results with that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Eyebrow products on mature clients. Oh boy, it's clear. That's a challenge there. Don't look fake. Okay. Well, I tend to like powder a little bit better than pencil because powder is going to be a softer look. So a brow powder you could try is the one from Benefit, but I'm trying to think what other powder I've tried that I kind of liked. There was this company down in Houston. I want to say the name was it Malik Beauty? They make brow powders too. Gosh, is that the right name? I think that is something like that, Malik Beauty. And they actually made some kind of decent eyebrow powders. Actually, Wella kind of makes a powder. I don't know if you knew about it. It was really designed for the hair as a touch up, but some people can use it on their brows too. People use it on their brows. But yeah, I think powder is going to be a lot softer look, and trying to find a powder that is maybe a shade lighter than their hair. Now, if they have kind of like more silvery brows, then probably going with something that's like a cool beige, something kind of taupey that might blend in nicely. And they Origins used to make this nice pencil called like Beechwood, I think it was, for brows, and they might have discontinued. It was like the perfect shade for anyone who had like silver hair where it didn't look too dark or too fake. But yeah, I think I would go with the Benefit brow powder if you can get that over there. If not, I think Amazon has a ton of everything. If you can't get it in the store, it seems like Amazon somehow they find everything on Amazon. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Benefit. Okay. So you just pay for your own range would totally be what kind of pricing would I do for my own range?
No, your unique selling point, your USP.
Oh, okay. For your range, okay, your personality. Oh, well, that's sweet. Do you think I have a good personality? I like to think so. I think I like chatting with you because we're talking makeup. When we're talking makeup, that is my thing. Love it. Yes, I'm a hairstylist. I actually started off as a hairstylist first and then got into makeup. So it's funny that I'm so passionate about makeup when I started off doing hair. Like I remember being 13, giving myself my first haircut. And, when I had my first job was at Cinnabon, a bakery, which I think might have Cinnabons over there. And I remember like a couple of my coworkers would be like, where you get your hair done? I'm like, oh, I do it. And bringing my tools to do one of my coworkers' hair at the bathroom at the bakery. But it wasn't until I got to college and I started working at a department store part-time in the clothing area. I kind of walked through the makeup department, and of course the lights, everybody looks so beautiful because of course the lighting in there is gorgeous. Everybody's a makeup artist, so they all had their faces looking spectacular. And I was like, I need to be here. Now, I had been playing around with makeup before, definitely, started playing around like around the prom, did my makeup. That's when I started playing a little bit. There was one model in Fashion Fair who I wanted to be so bad. If you ever heard of Fashion Fair Cosmetics, that was a huge line for Black women. But there was this one model I wanted to be so bad. So since she was a Fashion Fair model, I had to wear Fashion Fair makeup. So I really started playing and looking at the looks on the models and then trying to duplicate them on myself, because I'm pretty much a self-taught makeup artist. I have very little formal training. So, and that's how I kind of got started practicing makeup like that. And, but when I walked through the department that day, I don't know, anyone else like that? Maybe reactions? You think the makeup department is the most beautiful place, the most beautiful lighting, I guess, in the whole store, department stores. But I was like, I got to be here. I got to work here. This is where I belong. And I went to the HR manager that day and I just said, hey, anything open up in cosmetics, let me know. And he was like, okay, I'll keep you in mind. And I literally badgered him every time I came to work, because I was working part-time. So that was like the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe 2-3 nights a week. And every night I came in, if he was there, I would say, hey, don't forget, I want to be in cosmetics. Let me know if anything opens up in cosmetics. Constantly. It was probably like 6 months later. Finally, a part-time position opened up, and he saw me, was like, hey, come up and see me on your break. And I went up and he was like, hey, we've got 2 positions coming open in cosmetics, one for Christian Dior and one for prescriptives. Which would you like? And I was like, oh my God. The world changed. I was so super excited. That's when the world changed for me, when I finally got that job with Christian Dior and working in a counter, because I know the retail landscape's changing now because, less brick and mortar, but it gives you such a variety of clients to work on. You get to touch so many different people, so many different backgrounds, and start getting good at matching foundation of people in all different races and all different skin tones. And that's one thing I'm going to say to you as being an artist, that you need to make sure you find a foundation palette that can accommodate, you might need a couple that can accommodate, all the people who look like me and darker, and then people who are like really pale, super fair, like alabaster, like almost, really, really fair ivory, porcelain skin tones, because that's what really makes you an artist. If you can't match foundation for anybody who sits in your chair, I wouldn't call yourself a professional. And you can learn, like work on your classmates. And if you can't get them to kind of practice, do little practice sessions, matching foundation, maybe they have family members or friends that you could get to volunteer for you to practice, but you definitely got to get good at matching foundation on a variety of skin tones. But yeah, now I think about being in the beauty industry this long. I love it. It was, like I said, the most beautiful place in the world once I got there to Christian Dior, and I knew I wanted to start doing makeup then. And then the other really huge world-changing moment is when I discovered extensions in high school. Once I learned that I don't have to grow my hair, I can buy it, I can have hair down my back, or, short, like whatever I felt like. Again, world changed forever for me. So I don't know if anyone else felt like that too when you discovered extensions, but the world changed for me once I heard about hair weave extensions. It was a crazy place. Okay, let's see here. Okay, you guys got the benefit. Okay, if there was one thing you could give advice about in the makeup industry, what would it be? And I think I just answered that question without even reading it. That is to get a foundation palette for a variety of skin tones. Over here in the States, we do have a big problem with like New York Fashion Week, where there'll be models of all different skin tones, and a lot of the makeup artists don't have product to match the darker skin models. And sometimes the models actually have to bring their own foundation because the artists don't have it. And so it kind of surprises me that these artists keep getting hired for Fashion Week when they can't do a variety of people, but that's just kind of how it is. So that would be the thing I would say. Work on people that don't look like you. And if you can get, people together and just kind of practice, you can all kind of learn. That is one key thing that I think our industry definitely needs is people willing to work on a variety of tones. I can remember doing a video one time, and one of the actors, he was from India, and one thing he said to me is, "I'm so glad the makeup artist was brown." He said, sometimes I'm on a set and, they have no idea how to do my makeup, or they'll, ask me a question like, okay, what shade of brown are you? And so when you get that reaction from someone, you know that, okay, right. It is a little bit tougher, but working at the department store, that's where I got the ability to on a lot of people. So see, I know with COVID now, it's also a little bit, I don't know, sensitive to try to get people to work, but hopefully we're moving in the right direction and things will loosen up and you can do that. But that is the key. I've had people when I worked at the store come up to me just because I look like them and they say, well, what do you have on? What color is that eyeshadow? What color is that lipstick? So you find out that people do feel like it's a lot harder when you have browner skin to find the right makeup products. So be that artist that can service anyone who sits in your chair. All right, we're running up on time. This has been fabulous. I'm so excited that I got a chance to speak to you all. And also thank again, Miss Maria Bonus for bringing me. Thank Miss Claire for having me, Now there is actually a book. I was going to try to maybe get you guys some suggested books that you might want to get just to help you kind of like, build up your beauty arsenal, because there's a lot of artists out there that have given a lot of great advice with books. I'll probably email that to Miss Claire. That way you can see, because there's like a Kevin Aquan book. Sam Fine is going to be good for like the darker skins. There's a Bobby book that I had recommended. Also a book from a makeup artist that is here in DC. I don't know if it'll come up without blurring. Yeah, it's kind of blurring out. I have to turn my background off really quick. Let's see. I think this is how I turn it off. Do I put no background? And this book is called The Beauty Diary, and it's by a makeup artist called Bailey Sessoms. She actually was one of the people when I first started, when I made it a business. She actually was an artist that was out there, had her own studio, and I never even thought, oh, I could have my own makeup studio. And she used to do classes, and she's like a huge mentor to a lot of artists. Like, she was the first person that was like, you know what, what's for me is for me. We're not in competition. We're both, in the arts because we love makeup. And so having that mentality was really, really great. And the book was just really well done. It's got a lot of like beautiful images in it where she's doing makeup. Right, a lot of tips. And actually the book is written where someone who's a layman, it doesn't go over their head. And for people who are starting out, pros like you all, you would actually find something. But that was one of the ones I had on my list to show you. But I said you probably haven't heard of Bailey, since she's more of a Washington, D.C. makeup artist. But I definitely admire her work. So I said, yeah, I was going to put that on my list of something for you to think about for reading. So let's see. Well, it's been fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully you all picked up at least a little something, and I'll get the recording out so you all can maybe refer back to it, or, just hear my fabulous voice again. Okay, maybe if you miss me and you want to hear my voice, but hopefully I'll get an opportunity to come back and speak to you, because there's so much to talk about in beauty. I wish I had more time with you, but I definitely enjoyed being with you, chatting with you. Thank you for giving me my first opportunity to talk overseas with someone about beauty. So I really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully we'll chat again. Oh, now, if you want, I forgot, you could, let's see if I can find it. Follow me on Instagram. I want to see if I can find my page. Yes. So if you want, because I would love to see when you guys like post something, or, I'm sure you all are doing great makeup, maybe just tag me, because I want to see what kind of makeup you guys are doing, what kind of, exciting things are going on over there in the makeup scene in the UK. So please, it's MG Beauty on Instagram. And yeah, just tag me, because I want to see what kind of stuff you guys are doing, because I would love to see what's happening in the beauty space overseas. So
we could do that in the lesson, couldn't we, guys? Once we've done our assessments, we could tag Mindy in, couldn't we? So yeah. Remind me. Yeah, we should all do that in the lesson.
Yeah. And this
That
is
would
like,
be-
if it's still showing, like the books I was going to suggest that maybe you might, maybe take a quick screenshot. You might want to get Wade Bandy is one of the makeup artists from like 60s, 70s, I think. He was huge, but he's got a book that was really nice. I thought maybe if you want to go back a little bit in history and check him out, and then Crystal Wright, a guide for people who want to get out there in the industry. She's really well respected too out there. And then also, there was like professional discounts, like all these different brands offer discounts to makeup artists. So when you guys get out there, you get your cosmetology diploma. Like this is just like a short list of brands that I know of that offer discounts. And I may have tweaked it a little bit because of COVID, but overwhelmingly, a lot of brands offer a discount. 10%, 20, usually 20 to 40 is the norm for the discount. So definitely do that when you're starting to do your kit. Reach out to these brands and see what do you need to qualify for their discount programs. So I guess that's it. I hate to say goodbye to you all. It's been such a fabulous afternoon, but thank you so much for having me. And hopefully within the next few days, Miss Claire, I'll get you the recording once I figure out how to give it to you. Okay.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. I'm sure, well, I can see by all the reactions. Thank you so much. I think everyone's really enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. It's been brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the have. Please have me back anytime. I shouldn't say anytime I got a first, but we'll work it out.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks again for everything.
Have a good night. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, boy.